So welcome this evening to our inspirational goal setting session together. Inspirational. A lot of people set goals. A lot of people, unfortunately, set particularly poor goals, not with the outcome that they desire, but in the way that they do them. A lot of people are very analytical. A lot of people are very factual or logical when it comes to setting goals. The thing that I have found with all the neuroscience training that I've done is when we just focus on being analytical with our goals, they don't actually inspire us to keep going when that pesky little inner critic whispers all the reasons, the blame, the justifications why we can't do the work or why we shouldn't do the work. When we actually start to dive into the emotional side of things, when we attach an emotional response, be it positive or negative to something, we are more likely to take action. So yes, things like SMART goal setting is great, specific, measurable, realistic, achievable in time. These are great things to give you clarity on everything. But we need to make our goals inspirational. Our goals need to inspire us on those days, let's say, we just don't feel like doing the work. Because the only difference between the people that get great results and the people that kind of stay stuck running on that hamster wheel, getting nowhere fast, is the people that get the great results are the people that do what they said they were going to do, even when they don't feel like doing it. And that requires us to be inspired to get up and do it. So that being said, let's start working through this goal setting framework together. So for me, and I hate to sound really, really coachy, but I'm going to for a moment, there is this success pyramid that we talk about. There are 3 levels that we need to know. Now, most people are really, really great at understanding this middle section. You'll see this is a pyramid. We need all 3 sections completed to create inspirational goals. So a lot of people are really, really good at sorting out this middle one. The middle one is what we want. This is the tangible stuff. So this is I want to lose X amount of pounds or stone or kilos. I want to drop X amount of clothes sizes. I want to run 5K in a certain time. I want to run a marathon in a certain time. A lot of people get quite clear on what they want. Where people go really, really wrong is so that all sounds great, but why do you want to achieve this? Why bother? And I usually get the, I don't know, or the shoulder shrug, nah, because I think I should. All right. A lot of people are really unclear when we start to dive into that. So this is actually the first place we are going to start. Now, I think a lot of people ignore this part of the goal setting process because they don't want to tap into their emotion. Now, for us men, Austin, I'm great you're here because you can support me up. A lot of us guys, we don't like talking about feelings and emotions and stuff like that. It's a bit icky. We don't like it. A lot of people, to be fair, don't like talking about feelings and emotions, but this is the stuff that we need to focus upon. We need to get crystal clear on what this is all about. So we actually start with the why, or the why and what we call the big vision. So this is where you're going to be doing a little bit of work for me. I want you please to think about where you would love to be in 1 year's time. Okay, now you'll see on the screen, this is entirely up to you. You can start this process today. You can finish it today if you want to start it and then reflect on it maybe over the weekend and fill in some of the blanks with that. That really is fine. So I'm going to invite you now to create up to 3 goals of where you'd like to be 1 year from now. This could be, you'll see here, up to 3. So maybe 1 for your health, maybe a personal or family or relationships goal, and then maybe 1 business goal. Okay, you don't have to do all 3. Remember, this is your journey, not my journey. So if you just want to pick 1 health goal, absolutely fine. If you want to go for 2, great. If you want to do 3, no problem. I don't recommend more than 3 because it's very easy to get overwhelmed with, oh, there's so many things I've got to focus on. And just while you're thinking about this and starting to make some notes, the reason why I say 1 year is because some people talk about 3 years time or 5 years time. A lot of us really can't see that far in advance. We can't envisage what that would look like. Also, though, if we go the other way, yes, today we are going to talk about, 30-day goals, 90-day goals. But when we look at the big picture years from now, it's close enough that we feel that we need to do it and we can make it feel real. If I was to go, oh, where am I likely to be business-wise in 3 years' time? Haven't got a clue. So with this, be specific. Okay, so don't just say, oh, I'd like to lose some weight. I'd like to run a marathon, whatever it is. Actually put something specific. So in a year's time, I would like to be in X clothes size. I would like to weigh X amount. I will run whatever the marathon is, and I want to do it in under X amount of hours. So be specific. If you're struggling to be realistic with this, please feel free. You can, for those of you that hear, you can unmute yourself, or if you need to reach out and ask for some support. All right. What is realistic and what is unrealistic, then I can support you with that. Okay. Have you all got? You're now looking at the screens. Have you all got something now written down in there already? Would anyone like to share what they've got written down? You don't have to. But I've got some participation going here. Or Vicky's unmuted herself first. Go on, Vicky.
Yeah, no, I was just going to say, the one I'm struggling with is actually the personal one. I might just need to think about it a bit more.
It might be a holiday, for example.
Yeah.
It might be a big holiday.
Oh, I know what I can put in there.
There we go.
I was going to do it anyway, so it feels a bit like a cheat.
Right. Go on in.
It's happening anyway. So we're going to Vegas in October to renew our wedding vows.
You know what happens in Vegas stays in Vegas, right?
Yeah. But not this year, next year, next October. So that's probably too far away, isn't it? Because it's not in the year.
No. We can go for 18 months. That's fine.
I just feel like it's a bit of a. I need to really think about it, because I feel like it's a bit of a cheap one, because I'm doing that, whatever.
Yeah. Remember, you don't have to have it, right? It's not you must have 3. Remember, this is your journey. Maybe in a few days' time, something will hit you around the face of, oh, yeah, actually, that'd be a great personal goal for me to hit in a year's time. All right. Today might just be planting the seed that you'll work for.
Yeah, need to think about that one.
Austin, Jenny, you happy with what you've got written down? Yeah, get some nods. Cool.
Yeah.
Fantastic. All right. So that's the first thing. But again, a lot of people at this point, we can be quite clinical or analytical. All right. So this first step with a big vision is about going, yes, this is where I want to be. The thing we're going to move on to now is making it feel real. Right. This is where I want to start putting in the feelings, the emotions. We've all heard, or most people have heard of be, do, have. Who do you want to be? What do you have to do in order to have a certain thing? This is that kind of model. What we're going to do in a moment is a visualization exercise. Now, yes, once upon a time, people go, oh, that all sounds a little bit woo-woo and a bit airy-fairy. I'm not doing that nonsense. And yes, there was a time where it was viewed as that. However, there is a lot of scientific research from a neuroscience standpoint that shows us that when we focus on what we want, we start to change our brain's filters, what's called the reticular activating system. This then starts to show us more of what we want. Now, I'm a massive petrol head, and when I think, oh, I'd like a new car, and maybe I go and look on the website and I look at the spec, the color, and all that sort of stuff. Suddenly, there are lots of cars on the road, and the same that I'm looking at. Is it because suddenly there are more of those cars on the road? No, it's just because I didn't clock them. I weren't aware of them. We also see visualization being used a lot now in the world of sports. So it was mainly seen a few years ago in Formula One. Some of the Formula One drivers started to be sitting in the cockpit of their car during the warm-up, and they were actually sitting there, and you saw them, their heads turned. When asked, they were actually visualizing the track. They'd visualized every corner of every track, where they needed to hit, what speed they should be doing, when they needed to brake, when they needed to accelerate. You also see this quite regularly if you ever watch the Winter Olympics. You see this with normally the bobsled teams. You'll normally see the driver of the bobsled. Sometimes they shoot in on them. They're actually standing in like the the participants area, and they're standing like this, and you'll see them doing all this. They're actually visualizing the track. And what they've done is they've repeated this so many times, they know the track before they've ever even gone down it physically. They know every corner speed, when they need to put the brakes on, when they need to turn the brakes off, what angle they need to be at. There is a lot of positive research now that shows us the more we focus on what we want, if we spend a little bit of time visualizing what we want, we take actions towards that. Okay? So that's what we're going to do in a moment. Now, I call this strategy your cinema. Okay? Because what we're going to do in a moment, there's two parts to this. The first part is I'm going to get you to close your eyes in a moment, and you're going to create your cinema. Okay? This is like the arena where you would go and visualize where you want to be in 1 year's time. This is where you're going to make it real. So the first thing we're going to do is create, or you're going to do is create your cinema. It's going to take 3 to 5 minutes. Then we'll come back out and I'll tell you about the next bit. All right. So what I want to do, Vicky, if you want to take your glasses off, leave your glasses on, you can, it doesn't matter. All right, I want you to get nice and relaxed. You can lean forwards, you can lean backwards. If you fall off your chair, I'll try not to laugh at you, I promise. But what I'm going to invite you to do now is to close your eyes. And I just want you initially to focus on your breathing. I don't mind if you breathe in through your nose and out through your nose, whether it's in through the nose and out through the mouth. But I just want you to take nice, deep, controlled breaths. And on your next out breath, I just want you to let those shoulders drop down. Just let them relax. And I want you to keep this nice controlled breathing going. But now I want you to pay attention to my voice. So I want you to imagine that you're sitting inside your own head. Maybe right now you're just bouncing up and down on your brain. But as you're in your own head now, I just want you to imagine that you're looking at the inside of your skull, particularly your forehead. And I just want you to notice how that would make a great cinema screen. And what we're going to do over the next few minutes together is you're just going to start creating your own personal cinema. So let's start off. What sort of chair would you be sitting in your cinema? Would it be one of those uncomfortable sort of hardback chairs? Would it be a nice, luxurious reclining chair? Maybe it's a sofa. And just for a moment, continue to think about this chair. What material is it made of? Is it leather? Is it a fabric? What colour is this chair? And now you know what your perfect cinema seat is like. How many other seats are in your cinema? Is an exclusive cinema just for one? Are there a few seats in there for you and your immediate family? Maybe it is an auditorium full for you and everyone that you know. And just have a look round. What colour are the walls? What colour's the carpet? What colour are the curtains in front of the screen? I now want you to think about your other senses. So what does your cinema smell like? Is it quite strong, like coffee? Or is it quite sweet, like candy floss and sweet popcorn? What temperature would your cinema be? Would it be quite cool? So you want to sit in there in a jumper, and a scarf, and a woolly hat? Or is it quite warm? You could be in there in t-shirt and flip-flops. I'm just going to give you one more minute. Just keep trying to add little details here and there. Details using your 5 senses: sight, sound, smell, taste, and touch. Just for now, pick that one last little detail. And then when you feel ready, you can open your eyes. You can come back to the room, have some water, a little stretch out if you need to. There we go. So hopefully what we've done there is you've just started to create your own cinema, a place that you go back to whenever you want to and play out this movie of you 1 year from now. Have you all created your own little cinema? Was it an interesting experience? Was it what you thought? Have you created this really weird looking cinema now? Jenny, how was yours? You can unmute and have a little chat. Told you it's going to be interactive.
I've done it before, so weirdly mine looks exactly the same as it did last time.
Good. Did you notice anything else, anything new?
It was easier to do this time.
Good.
I did find it quite weird the last time I did it, which I think was about Christmas time. But yeah, it was a lot easier to do this time.
Good. Vicky, how was yours?
Mine was ace. I had popcorn coming down on pulleys from the ceiling because I couldn't find anywhere to put my popcorn.
Oh no. Just
So I was like, it can come down from the ceiling on pulleys.
Open your mouth and let it drop down from the ceiling.
Yeah, I didn't think about that, but yeah.
There we go. Fantastic. Austin, how was yours?
Probably quite boring. I just all I've got is this lovely big sofa that I remember we used to have, and I always regret getting rid of it.
Oh.
So yeah, that was the main thing. The comfy sofa.
Comfy
I
sofa.
hadn't really thought about the popcorn or anything like that.
There we go. Something to think about next time. So great. So every time, if you can do this, you don't have to do this, of course. This is just helping you set the tone. If you want to do this on a regular basis, there is an audio file that I will share with you. Every time you go into your cinema to think about the big vision, you can add an extra layer to your cinema. So again, just take a moment, notice something new. Because remember, this is all about tricking the brain. Because the more real we make something, the brain doesn't know the difference. The reason why I choose a cinema is because we've all been to a cinema before, and we've seen, now I've never been, I don't like horror films, all right? But I know if I went to see a horror film, I would be, my heart would be elevated, I might, be shaking. The cinema evokes different emotional responses for different things, right? That's what we're trying to do here. So every time you go back into your cinema, you can add the next layer. But what we're going to do in a moment is we're going to go back into your cinema. Now you've started to create it, or Jenny, you've refined a little bit what it looks like. And I'm going to take you through, again, this is going to be roughly 5 minutes. But this is now where you're going to be sitting in your cinema and you'll be creating your own movie. So your life 1 year from now. Okay, so this is where I want you to start thinking about, what does that look like? You've achieved your health goal, you've achieved your business goal, you've achieved your personal goal, whatever it looks like. What does that actually look like? This is where we start adding the feelings, the emotions. All right. We're going to also focus on, it's going to start with just you. Then we'll start focusing on who you're there with. We're going to incorporate your 5 senses again. And then towards the end, I'm just going to get you to start thinking about your feelings and emotions. all right, because we need to attach feelings and emotions to these tangible goals. That's the key here to make it inspirational. Okay, so once again for me, please, I want you to just get relaxed. You can sit back, you can lean forwards. I really don't mind. And when you're ready, I'm going to invite you to close your eyes once again for me. And again, just take some nice deep breaths. I don't mind how you do this, just nice and controlled, nice and easy, nothing forced. And on your next out breath, just let the shoulders drop once again, let them relax. And just imagine that you're sitting in your own head again, looking forwards at the back of your forehead. And now just put yourself back in your cinema. And just take a moment, just look round and add one extra piece of detail. And when you feel ready, the curtains are opening. And it's now time to create your own movie. And this is your life 1 year from now. And you have achieved the goals you set out. So starting with you, what do you look like 1 year from now? What does your body shape look like? Maybe your hairstyle. What clothes are you wearing? What is your posture like? When you're focusing on you to start with, think about your 5 senses: sight, sound, smell, taste, and touch. And as you're getting a clearer image of you, just now look round and notice where you are. Again, adding as much detail to your environment, to your location as possible. Now just notice who you are with 1 year from now. But pay attention to how you are interacting with them. Who are you being with them because you've achieved your goals? And then notice how they're interacting with you because of this. Remember, we're still trying to incorporate our 5 senses: sight, sound, smell, taste, and touch. And now finally, for today, pay attention to the feelings and emotions you are experiencing 1 year from now. I'm just going to give you another minute or so just to do this. And now just for today, just start bringing this movie to an end, knowing that you can come back whenever you want to. And just allow the curtains to close. And then when you're ready, you can open your eyes, come back to the room, have a little stretch, have a yawn, have something to drink. Well done. It can feel a bit strange, a bit weird the first time you do this. But that's the same with anything that you do for the first time. The first time you have a workout, the first time you try and drink more water in a day, the first time you try and fast. Every time you do this, it gets a little bit easier, you get a little bit better. It starts to become a little bit more impactful or insightful. Maybe you start to see something new. Austin, how was that for you?
Difficult. It's the first time I've kind of done that. So yeah, struggled a little bit with that visualization and bringing everything in. But yeah, I can. Hopefully, if I do it again, I will kind of bring the goals to make them more solid, so I can see the benefit of it.
Excellent, fantastic, thank you, Vicky. How's that for you?
Yeah, interesting. So on my business goal, I'd written stability of income and 5k months are normal.
Yeah.
But then when I did the visualization, it was more about what I would be doing, and I could see myself not in this country, not being doing a job that I could do online and I could do from anywhere, and actually doing it with both my girls, which was really bizarre.
Yeah, that'll be interesting to see where that one goes.
Yeah,
excellent, good.
Because I know Jazz has got the bug now of being out of the country, so she you don't want to come home.
Yeah. Dear. Jenny, how was that for you?
Mine was all, it won't come as a surprise to you and Vicky, mine was all centered around my confidence, self-confidence, the way that I looked, the way that I carried myself. Yeah, it was all around that. So it was good.
Good. Excellent. So this is one of those things, like everything, right? You do it once, it's a nice thing to experience, but it's probably not going to have any long-term impact. This is something where the more regularly you do this, the more, the easier it will feel. So it won't feel maybe quite as icky or quite as difficult. It will feel easier to do, and it will have a bigger impact. All right. So there is a recording of this. I'll share this with you as well. Again, it's just an audio file where I'm talking you through like I did today. So if you want to add that in somewhere in your day-to-day routine, you can do that. All right. Now, so that's like the big vision, you know, the where you're going to be 1 year from time, 1 year from today. It's focused on the feelings and the emotions and the experiences rather than just the tangible, the logistical, I forgot the word now because it's just rolled off my tongue. I'll come back to that. Next, we then look at the middle one, and this is now the what. So this is now breaking it down into the 90-day goals. All right, 90-day goals are great because they are bite size. Okay, a lot of people go wrong when they try, right, I'm going to do this, and they try and change everything at once. And of course, we get overwhelmed because we're trying to run our businesses, look after family, everything else in between, and we just don't have the time to make all these huge changes at once. The aim of the 90-day goal is to make something that's, again, realistic. It's not a million miles away, but also you don't have to go mad to make it happen. But this is where we need that clarity of what does it actually look like? What steps, what tasks do I actually need to do? So again, this is where we're going to put pen to paper, and we're going to look at that big goal and now break it down. So where would you like to be now? We're going to have 1, 2, or 3 90-day goals. So thinking about what you first wrote down, where you want to be in 1 year's time. Now we're going to break that down into where you want to be in 90 days' time. Again, it doesn't matter whether you've got 1, 2, or 3 goals. I always suggest you don't go more than 3 because that in itself can get overwhelming and complicated, and we can forget. Do be specific. Do be realistic. Again, if you are struggling with, well, what realistically can I achieve in 90 days, then please ask. You can ask now or reach out privately if you prefer that. All right. I now want you to write down where you want to be in 90 days' time. This is a smaller goal. It should feel less overwhelming. How are we getting on with these? Still see scribbling going on. Simple. I can see lips moving as well, and people talking themselves. Happy with what we've got written down for now? That's it. Now, do remember, if you don't get it all done today, if maybe you're having a bit of brain fog with this right now, it's towards the end of the day, so maybe if your brain's a bit tired, you can come back to this. This isn't a do it once and leave it. If you want to come back to this another day, do come back to this another day. Okay. So that was the what, and just notice we've not spent much time on that because now we need to dive into the way. Okay. And this is now the daily goals. What do you need to do on a daily basis? And there's no right or wrong answer here. There is your answer here. Again, it's your journey, so make this work for you. So I want you to consider, and of course, I know you're all working through the Fit 5 framework, so part of this we've already started doing, for example. Think about what the daily goal should be. Okay. And Austin, I'll use you because you're fairly new to the Fit 5 framework. So for now, that can just be hydration, intermittent fasting, and the daily exercise. They could be the 3 things to start with. Okay. You might turn around right now and go, actually, I'm just going to do month 1 because when we then get to month 2, I'll add in the next bits. Okay. So it depends where you are on your journey. I mean, Jenny's been working with me for a lot longer, so hers will be potentially slightly different. All right. But this is where we think, what do I need to do on that daily basis? What does it look like? Again, the aim of breaking it down to a daily goal is it becomes stupidly simple. I need to drink 2 to 3 litres of water a day. I need to fast for 16 hours. I need to do my 15 to 20 minute workout. Really, really simple things. Now, because I'm not here as a business coach, if you've got a business goal, for example, you may want to consider what that is. What do they look like? So again, do exactly the same for them. Maybe if you've got a personal goal, what 1, 2, or 3 things do you need to do each day to make that happen? As an example, for a business goal, with a business coach I worked with a few years ago, my daily goal was to send 5 LinkedIn requests. So Monday to Friday, my daily goal was, have I sent 5 LinkedIn requests today? Yes, great. I've achieved that daily goal. One of my clients from a while ago, one of their personal goals was to, unfortunately, they'd been through, this was a man, they'd been through a divorce, he didn't get to see his children very often. So something he was trying to do, his daily goal, one of his daily goals, was to send his children either a voice note or a video by phone, because they were of an age where they had mobile phones every day. So these daily goals are something that are stupidly simple. They are relatively easy and straightforward. So they're not time consuming. So be specific, be realistic. So this business coach, for example, what they actually wanted, what they said to the group of people was, right, what you need to be doing is every day you need to be making 50 LinkedIn connections. And I turned and said, no way, I'm going to do 50 LinkedIn connections every day. I get the theory behind this. Oh, we've lost Austin. I get the theory behind this. The more you send, the more connections you'll make, the quicker you'll build your I say friends list, but your connections on LinkedIn. Right, there's no way I'm going to send 50 a day. So look, I'll send 5 a day. I know that's that's nowhere near your goal, but I'd rather do 5 a day, 5 days a week, than give up. Now, of course, the people that said, I'm going to do 50 every day, they may have done that for 1 or 2 days and then they stopped. I was one of the only people that at the end of, I think, the 6-week program, like Monday to Friday, every day I had sent my 5. So I had sent more than everyone else put together because I made my daily goal stupidly simple, right? So what we've done there is we have filled out those 3 parts of the inspirational goal setting framework. We've got why it's important, you know, that's the big vision, that's the feelings, the emotions, the experience, the what we'll get to have. We've then broken that down to then what's the next 90-day goal? And then finally, with the way we've broken that down into the small daily steps, those little daily actions. The final thing that I'll say with those daily actions is we can create the A, the B, the C option. So again, to give you that, to create imperfect, consistent action, you could have an A, a B, and a C option. So using the LinkedIn strategy as an example, I say, right, the A days I'm going to send 20. The B option I'm going to send 10, and the C option I'm going to send 5. You can make it work. This is your journey. We have to make it work for you. The next part to this, oh, hang on, I've just a little message pop up. That might have been, that's fine. Austin, just pop a little message out there. The next step here is what I call be unshakable. That little inner critic is going to kick off whenever you do something new. That little inner critic, that little inner voice, the one that whispers or sometimes shouts at you, that is the voice of the subconscious brain. Remember, the subconscious brain despises change. The subconscious brain wants you to stay inside of your comfort zone because it feels safe. And of course, whenever we start to do something new, however small and simple the action is, you're still stepping outside your comfort zone. This stresses the subconscious brain out, and it uses that little inner critic to try and get you to stop and step back into your comfort zone. Obviously, how we create change is by stepping outside of our comfort zone enough times that our comfort zone then moves. Because the subconscious brain goes, I know, if I make this my comfort zone, then I can go back to feeling safe. So my invitation to you now is to write down all the reasons, the excuses, the blame, the justification that you've used in the past that have stopped you from doing the work. Now, there's no judgment from me because I have my own. All right. The reason for writing them down is what we're actually doing is we're acknowledging that they exist. We're acknowledging what they are. And by doing this, that actually brings awareness. So next time that voice kicks off, go, oh yeah, I was expecting that. I've used that excuse many times before. Do I want to choose to use that excuse again, or do I want to ignore it? So just take a moment and jot down anything that you've used in the past. You know, normally I hear things like time, motivation, energy, family. There's no right or wrong answer. There's no judgment. All right. Just write them down. Bring that awareness to what you have used in the past. And with each one that you've written down, there's a couple of options here. You can either make a plan of action about what you'll do when that little subconscious, that pesky inner voice uses that thing against you. That could be a pre-written response. It could be a type of action. Tony Robbins, for example, and probably one of the most popular personal development gurus at the moment, whenever he feels resistance, he jumps on a little trampette. Wherever he goes, there's always a trampette beside him. And he'll just jump on that because movement can help shift your mood. So he'll just bounce up and down on that for 2 or 3 minutes whenever that little inner voice kicks off for him. It may just be like a pre-written response. Shut up, go and get it done. Okay, there's no right or wrong answer, but the aim of having like a pre-planned response is it gives you that moment to actually make that decision. Right? Oh yeah, no, you haven't got time for this. No, that's fine. I'll just I won't do that today. I'll just carry on what I'm doing. It gives you that chance to actually have that pattern interrupt, to actually go, no, I'm not going to do that. Or you can use my option, which is a couple of questions. So when that little inner voice goes, oh no, you can't do that today because you're far too busy. How dare you prioritize yourself over everyone else? Or you just, oh, I'm feeling tired today. I shouldn't do it. Okay. 2 questions, actually a third question I need to add to this slide that I must admit I forgot. Now, the first question is, if I do this thing, will I die? Sounds a bit extreme, right? But that subconscious brain, when you're outside your comfort zone, is scared. It doesn't feel safe. So answering this question, if I do this thing, am I likely to die? Now, let's face it, unless you're going to do something silly like, jumping out of an aeroplane, the answer is, no, I'm probably not going to die. That actually puts that little subconscious brain at ease a little bit. Oh, right, okay, I feel a little bit safer now. The next question could then be, if I don't do it, I'd like to say, yes, you could put it that way, that's fine. Obviously, the answer is no. If I do this thing, will I die? Probably not. The next question would then be, again, to reinforce the subconscious brain that it's safe. What's the worst that could happen? Because if I do this thing, what's the really worst thing that could happen? If it's exercise, for example, it could be, I get all hot and sweaty, need a shower. I used to have a big thing, if I was going to reach out to someone, if someone had sent me a message saying, Ashley, I'm interested in working with you, my little subconscious brain would go, oh my God, how can you speak to these people? Are they going to judge you for what you say? Can they afford to work with you? Are they the right fit? Are they the right type of person? All, million and one things come flooding through my brain. If I phone this person, will I die? No. What's the worst that could happen? They turn around and say, thank you very much, but you're not for me. Worst that could happen. Again, it's positioning it with the subconscious brain that actually it's not a bad thing. Now, the third question you can use is then flipping it on its head. What's the best outcome? What's the best thing that could happen? I have a great workout. I've taken a step closer to my goals. I'll feel more energized after a workout. I'll get that little buzz, that little dopamine hit from having a workout. I phone a client, have a great conversation. So there are 3 questions that you can kind of steal from me and just implement straight away. If I do this thing, will I die? No. What's the worst that could happen? It's not that bad at all, right? And what's the best that could happen? And ask yourself, what's the best possible outcome? What's the best thing that could happen? Again, it's just that positive reinforcement of, well, I'm going to go and do this thing because I could experience that. I could get that thing. Okay? Make sense? Fantastic. Thank you. And so the final part to this is your support network. Okay? Again, I've realized there's a bit of the slide that I'm not taking out. It's my fault. Your support network is huge. And when I say it's huge, I'm not talking about the amount of people that are in your support network, but your support network are the people that are going to help you achieve the results you desire. Because as we've just been talking about, change and transformation happens outside of our comfort zone. It's scary, even if it's something little like starting to drink more water, getting up 10 minutes earlier, doing a 10-minute workout, going and getting some extra steps in. We need a support network around us to encourage us, to inspire us, to put an arm around us if it's been a bit of a bad day, maybe to give us a kick up the bum, say, just go and get it done, will you? So I want you to consider who is in your support network. Now, obviously, I'm part of your support network. The inner circle is part of your support network. But maybe you've got friends and family who need to be part of your support network. Maybe there are specific people that you need their support from, that you're not getting that support from them right now. When you've written down maybe a list of names, just take a moment and consider if there's a specific person. What does support look like from them? It's a story of a previous client from several years ago. Came in and said, Ashley, I need to lose weight. Yeah, I can help make that happen, no problem at all. And we went through and did this inspirational goal setting process. And I said, you know, is there someone who's not giving you the support you need right now? Yes, my husband. Okay, what's he done wrong? Was the first question. And this client said, well, look, I keep telling him that I'm trying to lose weight, I'm trying to improve my health and my fitness. But what I do is if I've had a bad day at work, very high pressure, stressful job. If I've had a bad day at work, I send him a message, I've had a bad day at work. And whenever I have a bad day at work, he always brings home a bottle of wine and some chocolate to try and make me feel better. Oh, that sounds really lovely. I said, let's just go through this. Whose fault is that, yours or his? Well, it's his fault for bringing it home. No, it's your fault. That went down like a lead balloon. Why is it my fault, Ashley? It's your fault because you've not educated him that that's not helping. Now, of course, there is a right and a wrong way of having that conversation. I said, you know, having a go at him and telling him that he's being the most unhelpful, unsupportive husband ever probably won't go down well. But if you sit down and have a conversation with someone and point out, this is how you can best support me. If you educate people on how to support you, it may not sink in first time, I get that, but you have that conversation maybe 2 or 3 times and eventually it will sink in. Because ultimately, this client's husband thought that he was making mega brownie points and was going to cash them in at some point. Because, wow, my wife's in a bad mood. I'm going to take chocolate and wine and cheer her up. Unfortunately, what he didn't realise is he was actually losing brownie points hand over fist. He was like minus brownie points. So the point is here, when you've written down what support looks like from a specific person or a group of people, tell them what support looks like. Now, that may require you to actually share with them the big vision. This is where this is what I'm working towards. This is why it's important to me. This is what I want to, this is how I want to feel. This is what I want to experience. You can help me achieve that by doing X, Y, and Z for me. So you need to tell them what support actually looks like. Please remember, because of human behavior, it may take 2 or 3 times of telling someone what it is. But go tell them, because they don't know the best way to support you. And that is the 5-step process to creating inspirational goals. So please do remember that this isn't a do it once and forget about it. You've been making notes. These should be visible as often as possible. I would encourage you to look at somewhere to put into your day 5 minutes to go through your cinema exercise. The more often you do it, the easier it gets, the more impactful it becomes. It is a great mental workout. And just like we have to work out physically, we also need to work out mentally as well. So that is what I wanted to share with you today. This is the aim, to create the why, the 1-year big vision, to create the what, the 90-day goals, and to create the way, which are your daily goals. And this is why I talk about the big wins from small steps. Because the big goals, when we just have that one massive goal, this tends to lead to that procrastination, that all or nothing thinking, and maybe momentary happiness. But when we start breaking down these small steps, these small wins, so the daily goals, we take more action. We have more of a learning mindset, and this actually leads to that long-term satisfaction because we actually achieve the goals we set out to. Rather than doing something for a few days, a few weeks, then falling off the wagon, it is much easier to have that imperfect, consistent action. So thank you very much for being here. Finally, I'm going to ask you both to unmute yourselves because I'd love to know what's been the most impactful part from this evening's training. Vicky, you can go first.
I think the thing for me, because I kind of know what health and business stuff I want to do, is really just trying to get into the personal thing. And the thing I'm really bad at is doing stuff for me.
Yeah.
So I've kind of at the big goal, I've gone self-care for me. And then on the 90-day goal, I've gone like one personal day per month to do something that I want to do. But then I don't know how to break that down into a daily goal, or whether there just isn't a daily goal. It's just knowing that I've figured out what it is, it's in the diary, and it's going to happen.
Yeah. And that might be it. It might be, again, there's no right, wrong answer. This may pop into your head another day. This is all about kind of sort of planting the seed and bringing that awareness. It may be every day you put some money away for this day out, so you can have a fun day out. I know we've heard someone talk about like the penny challenge, where you put a penny away and it multiplies and it multiplies. It could be something like that. It doesn't have to be, yes, I know we talk about daily actions. That could just be, right, on the first of the month, I'm going to plan my one day out. What is it going to be? So yes, there may not be, in that instance, there may not be a daily thing that you can do. All right. Jenny, how are you? I
think for me, it's just been a refocusing exercise. I feel like I've lost my way a little bit since the beginning of the year. I think I've just got carried away with all different things and fallen off track a little bit. So it's just helped to refocus and sort of put those goals back in place.
Good. Excellent. Well, thank you so much, both of you, for coming this evening. I'm going to hit stop recording now.